Listening to opinions from experts regarding issues relating to Malaysians and the citizens of the world when we go face to face with our guest. Every Thursday at 11:15 a.m. only on TRAXXfm.
Experience the excitement right here on TRAXXfm.
This is Trax Momentum with me, Diyana. Time on the clock is 11:15 a.m. and a gorgeous Thursday it is. We have face-to-face and I am well excited because I actually have Yang Berhormat, Teresa, the Member of Parliament for Seputeh, with me right here in the studios. Thank you so much for joining me, Yang Berhormat. How are you today?
Yeah, fine.
Fantastic. Okay. I'm very, very excited right now, just so you know. My mom is also excited to listen in. So we're just...
hello to your mom.
I will do. She's probably screaming right now because you said that. But I think for today, we're going to have a very nice conversation about moving forward in unity. And to start off with, I suppose, we want to, for the benefit of our listeners, and especially for the younger generation, perhaps those who have yet to have the opportunity to start voting, they want to get to know you a little bit more. Let's allow them to get that opportunity. So, Yang Berhormat, you've been in the history of politics for quite some time now. You have had history in politics for quite some time now. Could you share a little bit more about yourself with the listeners and what motivates you to do what you do?
Well, I became MP since 1999. This year is 2023. Oh my God. And I have become MP moving towards the 24th year.
Wow.
That shows, how old I am, is it?
No lah.
Well, I must say that in the last 24 years in Parliament, of course, I see the up and downs, the development of politics in Malaysia. I also, of course, the most interesting part is right now. 2018 was interesting enough. Work with Dr. Mahathir, and we first time we managed to have a change of government in 2018, and last year, 2014, the GE 15, where again, another interesting election where we had. Finally, Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim, together with us, with the Harapan coalition, we managed to make a breakthrough and have a change of government. And now we are back to government again. Mm-hmm. Well, your question is, about the new Undi 18, the newly registered voters.
Yes, we want to get to know you a little bit more. What do you, what is it in you that drives you to do whatever it is that you're doing for your constitution?
Well, what drives me? I think if I see myself, come into politics, which was not my plan during my university time, and during my university time, in 1986, I studied the course of communication in USM. Those days, the course of communication was rather new. But I desired to be a broadcaster, to be a TV journalist at that time. That's why at that time I majored in broadcasting, minor in journalism. After that I changed. I majored in broadcasting and I minor in political science. So actually I never planned to come into politics, but somehow it happened in the way in 1990 general election. When I came back to Kuala Lumpur, I helped out in the general election campaign of Dr. Gua Kia Song at that time. That's how I came to know about DAP. That's how I came to know about politics and so on. And after that, I was asked to work in the DAP headquarters as Lim Kee Siang's political secretary. So that's how I came in, I thought I will serve there for 5 years. I said, I gave myself 5 years time from one general election to another general election. I didn't know I stuck until now, sir.
Wow. I mean, after everything that you have experienced, I'm pretty sure that would give you the drive to do more things, to want to make a difference for the country itself.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite happy to see that some of those, policies that we wanted to change, and now we see it happening, especially when we talk about two coalition at that time, in 1990, we want Malaysia to have two political coalition, like in US, like in many countries, advanced countries, so that Malaysia will be more democratic. And we see it happening now in Malaysia. We never, after 20 over years, 30 years almost.
Yeah. Okay, well, it's wonderful to be able to hear your experience in that. And I suppose in a lot of ways, for the benefit of our listeners, especially for the youth, if they were to consider ever going into politics themselves, like you never know where you're going to start. So just like how YB had explained, your journey was completely different, where you started off with wanting to be a broadcaster. You still can, and I'm sure you can steal my job after this. But anyways, moving forward though, what are your opinions on the statement that was made by our Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim on New Year's Day, that the government's goal is to ensure that all Malaysians are treated fairly and equally, regardless of race and religion?
Well, I welcome this statement. This is a positive statement to all racial communities, and also for those in Sabah, Sarawak, and also with those in Peninsula. I think this is a very positive statement, and I think people generally are looking forward on the fairness and equality that they aspire for. And I read that yesterday the Prime Minister had announced that Sabah Sarawak can get the 50 million allocation, and they can use it at their discretion or something like that. And they are going to discuss more detail. So for me, this is also another positive announcement. And that shows that this new government, of course, with GRS and GPS and both state governments are in this coalition, that they have been respected. Their status as equal partners have been respected by this new government. So I believe the government leaders and also the people in Sabah and Sarawak, they welcome this announcement too. And of course, we have a lot of other issues that we need to handle that include gender equality, racial issues and all that. I think whole lots of them, but we have to be practical. We have to handle the most, the low-hanging fruit, something that we can do, we quickly get to do it. And also, I'm quite impressed with this new government that they are so serious in handling the reducing the cost of living. This has been actually stated in our Pakatan Harapan manifesto, and I see that they are very serious in implementing it. I see Masapu go to visit the chicken farm, try to see how to reduce the price of eggs, and also recent announcements that to lower the toll price in Bas Raya, Sungai Besi, and so on. So all these I think, are the moves that are welcomed by the rakyat.
Yeah, this is very fascinating. Now, also, on forwarding to that, in order to make sure that policies are formed with the general public in mind, of course, the Prime Minister also called for a greater grasp of the idea of a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
This concept must not only be in the minds of those in power, but also in the development policies on the ground. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, paradigm shift is something that we never expected, before GE 15, because GE 15, if we tell our voters, well, after election we'll work with UMNO or Barisan Nasional, sure we'll get hammered. But after this the GE 15, people can accept it. Our supporters, all this while the voters in my constituency, for example, is just DAP or opposition parties and no more, right? But now they can accept it. They are also looking forward that we can work together. And yesterday I was invited by my former opponent in election, former MCA candidate, Bani Chin, to officiate the opening of his cafe in my constituency. So I was sitting together with UMNO UMNO leaders, the local UMNO leaders and Amanah leaders and so on. Well, this is a breakthrough.
Certainly moving forward in unity as much as one could possibly do. But all right, well, we're going to take a really short break, YB.
Yeah.
All right, so I am actually having a chat with Yang Berhormat Teresa, the Member of Parliament for Seputeh. We're talking about moving forward in unity on Face to Face. We'll be right back.
Experience the excitement right here. Right here on TRAXXfm.
Listen in to opinions from experts regarding issues relating to Malaysians and the citizens of the world when we go face to face with our guests. Every Thursday at 11:15 a.m. only on TRAXXfm.
Experience the excitement right here. Right here on TRAXXfm.
Welcome back to Trax Momentum. This is Face to Face with me, Diyana, and I am speaking to Yang Berhormat Teresa, Member of Parliament for Seputeh. We have been discussing about moving forward in unity. In fact, we talked about paradigm shift, the idea of paradigm shift when it comes to working together with a group that one normally does not usually work with before this. But yes, so just to continue on that conversation, this paradigm shift generally does not occur overnight. In your opinion, Yang Berhormat, how will this be carried out and when will we start seeing results?
Well, we just started to work together. Okay, Pakatan Harapan with Barisan Nasional, with GPS, with GRS, and some independents, right? So we used to fight against each other in general election or state elections. So now we have to learn to accommodate and work together. Just 1 month plus only, so you still need to give us some time, say. And for me, I sincerely hope that we can work it out, something. Especially certain policies and even certain laws that we all have the same aspiration to bring change. I hope we can start something. It is challenging, but I think God willing, it takes two hands to clap.
Yeah.
So everyone must put forward show our sincerity in order to work together. So it also takes some time, for our grassroots to accept the fact. So I believe that it is not that easy be practical. For example, for some die-hard MCA members to see Wee Ka Siong working with DAP, for example, or even grassroots in rural areas to accept they have to work with the DAP. But I think it's also for us to learn to go into all these uncharted waters to show unity. I believe by this kerajaan perpaduan, by our leaders can show sincerity to work together. It also will somehow ease the racial tension on the ground. And this is positive and very much needed for our country.
Yeah, and to ensure that Malaysia remains a peaceful nation, and it has been since the beginning, racial harmony will be the major objective. Yes. Well, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this is true. You see, for example, I mentioned that yesterday I was sitting with some of the representatives from UMNO in KL. Then, as we sit together, we started to talk about how to bring reform and change in the governance of Kuala Lumpur. Actually, you also find that we have some common views on certain issues like overdevelopment, corruption, bribery that involve certain government officers, and we all think that it shouldn't happen and we should do something about it. We have actually when we sit down and talk together, we can find a lot of common points also.
Okay. Well, what strategy, in your opinion, can most effectively ensure that Malaysia remains a tranquil and multiracial nation?
I think leaders should play important role. I look at Indonesia, for example. If you remember, 30, 40 years ago, there was, certain racial conflict that happened in Indonesia. But you see, now, the President Jokowi, he himself went into church, the Catholic Church, during Mass. He made a speech there, and then he sort of say something that can bring the Muslims and the Christians together, welcomed by both sides. All this very little move by the leaders can have great impact on the ground. So I saw that Datin Sri Wan Aziza, she went to the Christian Federation of Malaysia, the Christmas reception. So she went out and made a very short speech, but her speech was so good. She didn't even went up with a prepared text. So she represented the Prime Minister and go there, and she talked about something that is positive, how her early days, when she studied in convent school, how this impacted her life, the values that she learned. Oh, okay, this is something very positive and welcomed by the by all, in the festive season. And I also see that because of this Kerajaan Perpaduan, the issue, for example, like whether the Muslim can greet the Christians Merry Christmas or not, it has been an issue, right? And first, I'm not sure whether this is the first time, but I was very happy to see this past Secretary General, Datuk Taqiyuddin, issue a Christmas greetings statements. Well, this is nice.
Well, like you said, I think it's all about, doing your best to work together. You got to shift that mindset a little bit.
Yes.
And it is really wonderful to be able to see things like that. And hopefully we will see more changes that is to come for the benefit of our country, of course. Yang Muhammad, what do you think of democratic accountability?
Well, this is important. I think that if you recall, since we become government in I think it started when we became government in Pakatan Rakyat at that time in 2008 in Penang, and also then in Selangor. Selangor was the first state that asked all the ESCOs to have to make asset declaration, our income and our assets, and after that we were both Penang and Selangor. We were the first states that come up with live telecast over webcasting, right? Then after that, slowly we influenced the parliament. They started with morning, right? The question time, live telecast in RTM. So it was the state then influenced the federal. Then after that, it has become like nowadays, if anyone wants to know what's happening in parliament, they can log into the RTM website to see the quarrel, to the voting or whatever that happened in parliament. So you can see for me, this is accountability, democratic accountability. Those days, I can tell you that when I first became MP, when we brought up issue like, we should have live telecast of a parliament sitting. We've been talking about it, during my time for more than 10 years. We never get the government at that time, to agree to that. And I still remember there was one former MCA deputy minister. She said, no, we shouldn't have a live telecast of our parliament sitting. This will encourage showmanship of our MPs, like as what happened in Taiwan, blah, 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 etc. But today, we were not aware, when we were sitting in the chamber, Dewan Rakyat, we were not aware that actually the whole country was watching.
There were cameras actually just being there, viewing
live.
Everyone. Yeah, exactly.
So it has become like, it's not an issue. And also reminded us that always sometimes it serves a reminder to us that, toe the line, or also be careful with what we speak. Otherwise, it will be watched, by the whole world because of the internet. So I think this is part of when we say accountability and part of democracy, transparency also.
Okay. All right. Well, then I suppose, in situations like this, when this happened, do you ever feel the pressure when it comes to, doing the work?
No, not really. As I say, I'm entering into my 24th years as Member of Parliament.
There you have it. All right, we're going to take another short break. But remember, you could actually get in touch with us at TRAXXfm Official on Facebook. We're live right now. I'll give a couple of shout outs later on after this as well. We'll be back shortly, and we're talking about moving forward in unity. And I'm speaking to Yang Muhammad Teresa Kok. We'll be right back.
Experience the excitement right here on TRAXXfm.
Listening to opinions from experts regarding issues relating to Malaysians and the citizens of the world when we go face to face with our guest every Thursday at 11:15 a.m. only on TRAXXfm.
excitement. Right here. Right here on TRAXXfm.
Welcome back to Tracks Momentum's Face to Face. You are with me, Diyana, and I am also having a chat with Yang Berhormat Teresa Cox. She's been with me over the past, I'd say, about 25 minutes or so. Thank you so much for still being here with me and talking about your experiences and, in fact, what we as a Rakyat have been seeing happen ever since the GE15, what people have been thinking about and whatnot. But now I do want to give a couple of shout-outs to some people who have said hello via Facebook at TRAXXfm Official. Shout out to Clay Stephen Tuning as well as Alan Chan. He says Happy New Year.
Hi, Happy New Year.
All right, well, continue to send your, hellos or anything of the sort via Facebook, but I'm going to continue on. Yang Berhormat, can you share with the listeners how you intend to benefit both your constituency as well as the country? What are we going to expect?
For this year?
Well, anytime for the next few years, this year?
Well, I must say that, we have to, a lot of things, politics is dynamic. So it takes two hands to clap. And we have to really show sincerity to work together. And then people can see from the way we run our program, the way we make our statements. So I believe there are lots of things that we actually can do together. Although we used to be political, enemies in the past, but there are a lot of commonality if we come together to discuss about law and policies reform. For example, I must say that I was so encouraged to see Dato' Azarina Othman. She mentioned about she's going to present remove the compulsory mandatory death penalty in Parliament. This was something that when I was Cabinet Minister in last term, we were trying to push for, but we faced so much, backlash, at that time. And she also mentioned that she's going to amend the constitution, constitution amendment for the women who gave birth to children overseas, and children can become Malaysian. This is really, a long-awaited kind of this law reform by women. And for me, that is the Parliament part. I feel quite excited to see all these positive amendment being announced by the minister. Okay, for me, I hope that Parliament will be more alive. There will be more select committee to be formed for the MPs to monitor different ministries and bring forward our ideas and understand better about the government's policies and work together with the governments of different ministry. And for me, as an MP for Kuala Lumpur, I look forward, the Prime Minister had asked the DBKL to have monthly meeting with the MPs. I was so delighted to hear that from the Prime Minister. And I, because there are lots of constituency issue, potholes, clogged drain, and landslide, and all these things. Lots of times we did not get that positive or immediate responses from the DBKL. So now if we can have monthly meeting with DBKL top-ranking officers, I believe this will help to improve the condition of our constituencies.
Oh, yes. Being able to work together with basically everyone, pulling everyone's ideas together in order for the benefit of the nation, after all. YB, what are your expectations for 2023?
Well, let us be a bit practical. Of course, I can say all the nice things that I mentioned just now, but looking at climate change, the world climate change, looking at, I foresee that we are going to have more flood, landslide, like the Patang Kali ones. And I'm going to see that, this is not happening in Malaysia alone, but it's a worldwide, phenomenon. I think that we have to be prepared and learn to offer help and do it fast enough to the victims of landslide, of flood, and so on. And we need to be prepared for that. Okay, and secondly, I foresee that there might be economic slowdown. This is what, not from me, but from some experts, right? Economic analysts. So we be prepared that, we might need to also be cautious with our spending. So I'm quite glad to see that the government is very mindful of that. They slim reduce the members in the cabinet, and they are very cautious. For example, they cancel the celebration of New Year celebration because of the Patang Kali, the disaster. So all these measures will give rakyat feel that, well, the government and us rakyat are together. We are, bracing a challenging year. But I believe that if we all can work together, come back to unity government, and if people can be united to when we face all these challenges, I think we can overcome it.
Very good. I mean, it is, after all, going to be, full circle. We are here specifically to talk about moving forward in unity, and it seems as though you are working towards that. It is great to hear, but I think at this point of time, unfortunately, we've run out of time because we're going to have to let you go. You are a busy, busy, busy lady. So we do have one last question. Is there anything else you'd like to add or wish to our listeners right now?
Well, I hope that the rakyat can continue to give us support. Well, for my constituents, you know me for 24 years, and you all have given me, overwhelming support until all my opponents lost deposit, like in my constituency. But not only for me, I hope that the rakyat can also come forward to volunteer their service, right? And when with all these grand ideas, being brought forward, most important is not just to give lip service, but to translate. Like I say that, we need to help the poor, need to help be quick enough for the disaster victims. I believe there are many experts on the ground that we hope that they can come forward and lend support and to work together with the MP's office. And for me, I really hope that I can work closely together with the NGOs and especially, we have a lot of retired civil servants. They are so smart in many things because they have served the government for many years, right? Actually, all these retired civil servants, I do hope that I urge them to come forward. They are not that old yet, so they can come forward and do many wonders and contribute back to the society.
All right, thank you very much. Well, we really look forward to seeing what is to come, especially for the next few years, and all the best with everything. But thank you so much once again. I've been speaking to Yang Berhormat Teresa Kok. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah,
and
thank you for inviting me.
And do come again very soon, hopefully.
Yeah, sure.
Well, there you have it. Well, it has been rather exciting, and I hope you have enjoyed our face-to-face this session. And remember to follow us on Facebook at TRAXXfm Official. Send in your comments. You can still watch the video once again once the live is over, but we will be back shortly, so don't go anywhere. This is TRAXXfm.
Experience the excitement right here on TRAXXfm.
Listen in to opinions from experts regarding issues relating to Malaysians and the citizens of the world when we go face to face with our guest every Thursday at 11:15 a.m. only on TRAXXfm.